happening? I hope you're all well. So, my post-fight review for Joshua Buatsi versus Craig Richards. And this fight, I'm not too surprised how it went. Joshua Buatsi, he's got that aggression, he's got that speed, he's got that tenacity. And Craig Richards, he's got that wily sort of style. He's got that good straight punching, good technique. And Craig Richards, he's got good power. However, he fights within himself at times. So I thought that this fight would kind of go like this. Joshua Buatsi just doing a bit more than Craig Richards. Joshua Buatsi starting things off, but Craig Richards also having his fair share of success. So the fight got started with Craig Richards getting on his jab and Joshua Buatsi coming forward, leading with power punches. And it looked to me like Joshua Buatsi looked dangerous, but Craig Richards looked measured. And Craig, it looked like a round that you could kind of give to Craig Richards, but then Joshua Buatsi throws some tenacity in there, let go of a combination. And I wouldn't say bothered Craig Richards, but definitely that was maybe enough to take the round. But then as the fight went on, I felt that Craig Richards showed quality. Like, here's the thing, Craig Richards throughout the second round might have been a Craig Richards round. It was quite close. Craig Richards showed quality throughout this fight, and I thought this might be the case. He shows he's got good punch selection. He showed that he's got power. And he did, because he buzzed Joshua Buatsi, and he showed that he's quite measured, but just not enough. Joshua Buatsi just outworking Craig Richards, and Craig Richards just not doing enough to take the rounds, despite showing his quality in the rounds. It's quite frustrating to see a guy with quality, power, technique, skill, but just not doing enough. And I thought this might be a problem for Richards. He fights within himself. He fights within himself sometimes, and it's almost like he's showing you something, but it's almost like he could show you more, but he's not showing you more. And in a fight against someone as tenacious, as aggressive, and as quick as Joshua Buatsi, that was never going to be to his advantage. So it was a case of the rounds, Joshua Buatsi outworking Craig Richards, but Craig Richards landing some quality. If you look at the way Craig Richards was throwing some of his punches and landing some of his punches, timing him with the uppercut that hurt Buatsi, landing the good straight punches from distance, he was doing some clever things in there. And it's a shame that he just couldn't do more of it, because you wonder if he was able to do more of what he did, whether he could have maybe hurt Buatsi even more, or even won the fight. So I didn't score the fight, but obviously it was scored as a close but decisive win for Buatsi. And I'm gonna go out and say, if I scored the fight, maybe I probably would see it like that, because it looked like Joshua Buatsi took the early rounds quite comfortably, but Richards warmed into the fight as it went along. However, again, just not enough. So I would have to say that Buatsi, the problem with Buatsi, right, here's the thing. Buatsi, there's a lot to like about Joshua Buatsi. Quick, got some power, tenacious, aggressive, can turn up the gears. He's going to be dangerous for any light heavyweight. I tell you that right now. He's going to be dangerous for any light heavyweight. But defensive issues. He's got some defensive issues. He seems to be very easy to time at range. Very easy. And when you get him with one, it seems like he's vulnerable to more. Literally, from range, Joshua Buatsi seems relatively easy to hit. And he almost looks a bit confused when he gets hit. Like he gets hit with one and he doesn't know what to do. It's very strange to me. He doesn't really use the head movement that much, Joshua Buatsi. So Joshua Buatsi has a lot to like, but I think defensively, if there's a fighter who's a bit more aggressive than Craig Richards, has a harder jab than Craig Richards, and puts a bit more authority on that jab and creates that distance. Maybe Dmitry Bivol's going to be that guy if they fight. Joshua Buatsi is going to find himself on the end of the losing end of a points decision, or maybe even getting knocked out. That's my opinion. You know, if Joshua Buatsi doesn't address the defensive issues, but there's so much to like about him: the power, the tenacity, the aggression, the going through the gears, the inside fighting, the physical strength. There's a lot to like about Joshua Buatsi. He's a handful for any light heavyweight, I'll tell you that right now. So Joshua Buatsi really won this fight through outworking Craig Richards. I wouldn't say there was a clear class gap between the two of them. The problem with Craig Richards is that he just didn't do enough. Just like I said in my preview video, he just didn't do enough. I'd say Buatsi landed the more eye-catching punches. Joshua Buatsi maybe bothered Craig Richards. He bothered Craig Richards with regards to who hurting him more than Richards hurt Buatsi. Buatsi was hurt once in this fight. I think a right uppercut from Richards started it, and then I think that the end of the bell came in the end of the round, and Buatsi kind of gathered himself, and Richards didn't step on the gas, because I remember at the start of the round, you know, Buatsi was hurt towards the end of maybe the 7th round, and then came out in the next round, and Richards didn't really test how hurt Buatsi still was, and that was kind of, you know, to his detriment as well. So I think that there's, you know, things, you know, Craig Richards, he showed his quality, he showed his punch variety, he showed his timing, he showed his ability to contain Buatsi in spots on the outside, particularly on the tail end of the fight, but he just didn't do enough. And the other thing I want to say is that Richards did match Buatsi in spots with regards to his aggression and his speed and his tenacious nature. But the problem was, Buatsi, it would be like this: Buatsi lets his hands go onto Craig Richards, then Richards lets his hands go on Buatsi. But it was never Richards lets his hands go on Buatsi and Buatsi lets his hands go on Richards. It was always Buatsi who seemed to start the aggressive attack, and then it would be Richards, if he was going to mount an aggressive attack, it was almost like a reaction. So it was almost like Richards is happy just to go with this slow pace, and then if Buatsi lets go, he's going to let go. But if Richards actually did it more, let go, lead, like he led off more with his aggression and mounted a serious attack, I think that would have made a difference in the fight. But I'm not surprised how this fight went. But respect to both guys. Joshua Buatsi obviously looking to move on from here. Respect to Craig Richards, he can come again. How does Buatsi do against Dmitry Bivol? I think that's a competitive fight. Now I don't necessarily pick Buatsi to win that. Buatsi's going to be a handful for any light heavyweight. I tell you that right now, because he's got some tools to like. Whereas, you know, Dmitry Bivol, he's not the most powerful, but he's solid. He's not a powder puff puncher either, so a lot of it's going to depend on Buatsi's chin at the end of the day. If Buatsi can take a punch, nothing suggests that he can't at the moment, then he might want to work on just getting on the inside and working against Bivol. But you know, if he can't take a punch, then that's going to be a problem. But I can't see Buatsi having a fight that's fought on the outside with Bivol and winning. I can't see it. So that's a competitive fight though. Buatsi has a chance against any light heavyweight. He has a chance because he's got some tools to like. He just needs to work on a few things. So those are my thoughts. Good fight. You know, respect to both. Let me know what you think. Who should Buatsi fight next? Is he ready for the likes of Peterviev, Bivol, Smith Jr. and all of them? Let me know. Or would you like to see Anthony Yard? That's another fight. Let me know. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, hit the notification bell so you get a notification when I make a new video, and I'll see you on the next video.